7:38 now. The chairman of Haemophilia NI says he worries the issue of financial support for victims of the Contaminated Blood Scandal will be bottom of the priority list of financial commitments set out in the New Decade New Approach deal. 5,000 people across the UK were infected in what has been called the worst scandal in the history of the NHS. But victims in Northern Ireland receive an annual payment which is much less than those in England, Scotland and Wales. In some cases, the difference can come to as much as £14,000 a year. So despite the commitment in the deal, Simon Hamilton from Haemophilia NI says he fears they'll be forgotten, and he has requested a meeting with the Health Minister. Simon is with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Elaine.
Can you just remind us, Simon, why victims in Northern Ireland receive less financial support than those in England, Scotland and Wales? And just give us a bit more detail on the average gap.
Well, the question is one which needs to be answered, and needs to be answered by government. I have several letters here in front of me from meetings I've been having as part of a campaign group, both meetings with the Cabinet Minister, the former Cabinet Minister, letters from Prime Ministers, 3 letters from 2 Prime Ministers, committing to the parity process and ensuring that financial parity will be provided. The government has made some decision in the past that devolved administrations would make the payments. However, all haemophiliacs and other transfusees and all those folks who were seriously infected were all infected prior to the devolution, and the decisions made were made prior to devolution in terms of the purchase of unclean products. So people have been suffering from and living and dying, I have to say, and continuing to die as a consequence of the impacts of contaminated blood for over 40 years. And I have letters in front of me going back to May of last year, in fact April of last year, from the Prime Minister at the time, making commitments that parity would be achieved, that progress was underway. Mm-hmm. I have been to see many senior civil servants, not the Department of Health, which is a bone of contention. They're not as accountable. Mr. Pengelly has not made himself available to discuss these issues.
How much money is actually needed, Simon, to bring about pay parity? Would it be a large amount?
Well, that's a very good question, Elaine. The reality is that there are over 2,000 sufferers in England, and there are 99 sufferers in Northern Ireland. We had more, and then tragically a number of our colleagues have passed away as a consequence of the impacts. The uplift in England came to £29 million. We lobbied strongly in the Cabinet Office for that, meetings with ministers in England. We were told at the time, and we were arguing at the time, for parity. By a sleight of hand, the government didn't achieve that or deliver that. We find ourselves here in Northern Ireland, 99 people instead of 2,634 in England. The English uplift amounted to £29 million. Uh-huh. We here require somewhere in the region of a little over £1 million.
Okay, so not a lot of money, obviously, but in government terms, it's not a lot.
Yes, I have to say that I was notified that Sajid Javid, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, on the 5th of September was going to make an announcement in Westminster, and he has, and it's in Hansard, that he was providing an additional £404 million to Northern Ireland. This was pre any agreement which has just occurred. And at that time, he commented specifically that due to the strong lobbying of MPs from Northern Ireland, he was hoping, and I noted his words with anxiety, hoping that funds would be made available to support and to conclude on the issue of contaminated blood and disparity in Northern Ireland. Now, the theme of everyone achieving and everyone working towards has been going on, but we're no further on.
Yeah.
I can't get a meeting. I can't get correspondence.
And how did you feel then when you seen this commitment made in New Decade Approach? Because what it says exactly is the executive will bring about parity in financial support to victims of contaminated blood in Northern Ireland. Were you buoyed by that, or do you just feel it's a promise perhaps that won't be achieved?
Well, first of all, I really welcome the fact that we have our Assembly back. I really welcome the fact that we have a minister who is now going to address these issues and all the other essential issues that need to be addressed. I also welcome the fact that he and his party have stated clearly that they wanted this opportunity. They wanted to take this post, a very challenging post, and there's already a beginning of a process of engagement. Now, the Minister's rightly dealing with issues of parity of payment in terms of the nurses' scheme against England. The principle and the precedent has already been laid. It's a question of commitment. Yes, I have had many verbal commitments. I've seen no action. And I'm urgently calling for a meeting with the Minister on behalf of the remaining 99 people. And I can tell you, sadly and tragically, in all likelihood, there will not be 99 people by the time we get to the end of the inquiry, which is 2 years away. These people need treatment and support now.
It must take a terrible toll on you all and all those people's families. It's just the way you say the remaining 99, that's hard.
It does. It does when you think back to those who have suffered and have died, and to those who are left behind. They are forgotten in this process. As a campaign group, we are speaking for all the sufferers and their families. And I'm confident, and we are confident, that at the end of this inquiry, all of these issues will be laid out and dried out and finally cleared. And there will be a proper process. What I'm calling for from the Minister is completion, accountability and justice at this particular point in time. We didn't ask for an uplift. It was determined on the basis of a recommendation from Sir Brian at the beginning of the inquiry. And he said that urgent action needed to be taken in order to support the needs of victims. And I have many victims I will happily take the Minister to meet who would very much benefit, both physically and emotionally and mentally, from the support and from the fact that we are recognised as having the same symptoms, the same illness, the same trouble and problems as our counterparts in England and in Wales and in Scotland. We're no different. We were infected the same way by the same pollen.
How soon do you hope to meet the Minister, Simon?
I beg your pardon?
How soon do you hope to meet Minister Swann?
Well, I got a letter off to him with one of my MLA constituency MLAs who's been very supportive of Mervyn's story, and we are hoping to have a meeting as soon as possible. I realise, and I'm very grateful that the negotiations have put us firmly on the agreement as a priority. However, I understand the Minister's a very busy man, and there are lots of needs, and he in his wisdom has to determine those. I just hope that he gets a clear and honest view and not a jaundiced or a judgmental view from the Department's Permanent Secretary.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, Simon. I really appreciate it. That's Simon Hamilton there, the chairman of Haemophilia NI. I should point out that we have asked the Department of Health for a statement on this. We're still waiting to hear back from them, but Stormont's Finance and Health Departments did previously tell the BBC that they are working with their counterparts in England, Scotland and Wales to try to solve the disparity. So it is an issue that we will return to. We have been trying to look at more under the radar issues that have been flagged in the new Stormont deal. So after 8:30, we're going to reflect on the welfare reform situation.